Valentine's Day. It's a weird holiday for sure. For some, it's roses, love, dinners, and chocolates. For others, it's a yearly reminder that you're stuck scrolling through filtered but sexy Instagram pictures while eating Chinese takeout in bed. And honestly, I've been on both sides. And here's the thing. Whether you're in love or lonely, Valentine's Day has this way of making you feel something. But what if I told you that a lot of what we think about love, relationships, and even loneliness is totally wrong? Like, what if things we believe to be normal in a relationship aren't actually even that healthy? We're going to talk about the dichotomy of Valentine's Day, the joy, the loneliness, and most importantly, how to build real, lasting love that actually works. Not the fake Hollywood kind, but the kind that lasts a lifetime. And for singles, don't worry, I got you too. So if you're new here, I'm Brian, just the guy that's been through a lot of tough times. I've learned a lot along the way, and now I want to share what actually helps. My goal isn't to just talk about life, but to give you real, actionable ways to make it better. Whether it's relationships, mental health, or just figuring out how to navigate life, I want this to be a space where we can grow together because I know what it's like to feel lost, and I also know what it feels like when small shifts can change everything. So let's get on with it. Valentine's Day is the ultimate paradox. On one hand, you've got couples posting extravagant date nights, rose petals on beds, and on the other hand, you have singles pretending not to care when maybe they feel like they're being left out. I've been there. I know what it feels like to watch people in love and wonder, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I find the right person? I also know what it's like to be in a relationship and feel like, oh yeah, this is why people make such a big deal about this day. But here's the truth. Valentine's Day doesn't define how good your relationship is, just like being single doesn't mean you're going to die alone. It's just a day. And love, real love, is so much more than that. But first, let's talk about what actually makes a relationship work. Because honestly, a lot of us actually have no idea. A lot of people stay in relationships that aren't great for them simply because they don't know any better, and it's not their fault. If you grew up in relationships full of fights, bad communication, or emotional distance, that might feel normal to you. If you've never experienced a healthy relationship, how would you even know what one looks like? That's why educating yourself about what makes relationships actually work is one of the best things you can do. Because the best relationships aren't built on just chemistry and passion, although that's really important. They're built on a foundation of trust, respect, emotional safety, and communication. I got a story for you. I actually studied this in school. I was in aging studies class. I think it was high school. And while most of my classmates focused on diseases and health issues, I just wanted to focus on something positive. So I chose to study love. I wanted to know how love changes over time, and what I found was pretty cool. I interviewed people from all age groups, from children to seniors. Young people talked about love in terms of butterflies or that feeling and excitement, the thrill of getting to know someone new, the feeling of being completely obsessed with the other person. But the older couples, the ones who had been married for decades, talked about consistency, trust, respect, and companionship. They valued deep friendship, listening, and loving each other despite their flaws. I remember this one couple saying, even when they do things that make you want to wring their necks, you still love them for who they are, and you know you can be completely comfortable and completely yourself in all your weirdness around them. And that made me realize something. We focus so much on the beginning of relationships, the spark and the chase, that we forget what makes them actually last. So if you're in a relationship, here's some real advice to make it stronger. The first thing is learn how to communicate. And a lot of people say this, but what does it mean? Most relationship problems don't come from falling out of love. They come from miscommunication and unmet expectations. Have you ever had an argument where it started over something small, but it turned into a full-blown fight? That's usually because people don't actually say what they mean or listen to understand. A great book on this is called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. Here's the things that it teaches. One of the lessons is observation versus judgment. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," say, "I felt unheard when I was talking to you about my day." Do you see the difference? The first one's an attack. The second one is just an observation about how you feel. It takes out the personal aspect of it. Another point he makes is expressing needs clearly. People aren't mind readers. If you need something, say it directly and calmly instead of assuming that your partner should just know. Listen without defensiveness. Instead of immediately arguing back, try repeating what your partner said to make sure that you understood. So for example, "So you're saying you feel overwhelmed when I don't help with chores?" This small habit can completely change how you argue. When couples learn how to communicate better, they don't fight less, they just fight smarter. Sometimes you fight less. You fight with more kindness. And also, don't forget to talk about what you want in life. The big stuff, money, family, children. What does your dream life look like? What does their dream life look like? And are we able to combine both of our dream lives into one happy, fulfilling life? Here's the second point, understanding different attachment styles. Why do some people crave closeness while others pull away? Why do some people get anxious in relationships and others seem to avoid intimacy altogether? That's attachment theory. But here's the thing. Most people use it as an excuse instead of a tool for growth. That's where Eli Hardwood's book, Securely Attached, comes in. It's based on newer research on attachment theory that doesn't just tell you what your attachment style is, it helps you actually work towards a secure one. A lot of books on attachment theory just say, "Oh, you're anxious, you crave validation," or "you're avoidant, you push people away." But Hardwood flips the script and says, "Cool, so now what? How do you fix it?" Here's some takeaways from the book. You're not stuck in your attachment style. People can change, and you have to rewire your brain to have healthy relationship patterns. It's not about avoiding relationships until you're perfect. It's about learning how to communicate your needs while taking ownership of your own behaviors. Your partner's attachment styles matter too. If you're with someone avoidant or anxious, knowing this helps you understand their reactions instead of taking them personally. If you've ever felt like you sabotage your own relationships, this book is definitely going to help you stop doing that. So check that book out. This is the third and final healthy relationship tip. Stop romanticizing red flags. Like, we've all seen it. They make the mistake of seeing controlling behavior for they just care a lot, or they think constant fighting means they're just passionate. But in reality, love is not someone keeping you on edge. It's not someone making you feel like you have to prove your worth. Healthy love isn't chaotic. It's consistent, safe, stable, and open. If your relationships drain you more than it fulfills you, there's something going on. Now onto the singles. I haven't forgotten about you, boo-boo. So now let's talk about the other side of Valentine's Day. Loneliness and how to cure it. Being single on Valentine's Day can feel like you're missing out on something big. But the reality, being alone is 100 times better than being in a bad relationship. And learning to be happy by yourself is one of the best things you can do before entering a relationship. Side note, you don't have to be fully healed or 100% perfect in every aspect of life to find love. We're all a work in progress, so don't stress about being fully healed like the gurus want to tell you. So if you're feeling lonely, here's some things that actually can help. The first solve for loneliness is to build stronger friendships. One of the biggest lies that we're told in modern society is that romantic love is the only love that matters. It's not. Close friendships can be just as fulfilling. If you're feeling lonely, just put a little bit more effort into your friendships. Make plans, be vulnerable, and deepen those connections. Make the effort. 2, find meaningful activities. Loneliness is often just boredom disguised as sadness. If you don't have something that excites you, whether it's a hobby, a project, or a goal, you're gonna feel empty. You gotta find something that makes you forget to check your phone. The third thing is change your inner dialogue. The way that you talk to yourself matters. If you keep telling yourself, I'm unlovable, I'm always alone, I'll never find love, your brain's gonna start to believe it. But if you shift that narrative to, I am whole on my own, I'm worthy of love, I'm growing, I'm learning, your outlook is gonna change. So whether this Valentine's Day is filled with romance or you're taking a self-care night with bath bombs and Netflix, remember, love is more than just one day. It's about how you live, how you treat others, and how you show up for yourself. And honestly, that's way more important than a box of chocolates. That was my sad attempt at Forrest Gump. Love that movie. I actually used to watch it yearly when I was in high school. I need to get back to that. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, a subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what's the best relationship advice you've ever received and what's the best self-care tip you've ever discovered? Let's start a conversation, and I'll see you next time. Much love. Peace.